always incredible, and it's led me to some of the incredible women in this room, but especially this one. Really quick, I'm going to give you a little bio. Okay, so Crystal is the founder and CEO of Crystal Lily Creative, the author, that's right, published author, Great Leadership is a Choice, an inclusive guide to creating belonging. She's 15 years a photographer, wedding photographer. You would see her website and you would see couples that you're like, yeah, these are all kinds of couples. Not just the beautiful, white, blonde, running through the sand, cis, hetero couple. It's really great, really inspiring. She also is a branding and leadership development consultant. Crystal brings a unique blend of creativity and core values-driven expertise to her work. She's passionate about fostering diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, advocating for healing and support within organizations. It is my pleasure to introduce her. She really has challenged me in my branding voice and what my messaging says, everything from my website to what I'm posting on Instagram to my emails. I literally have a moment and say, what would Crystal say? I do. I really do. I want to make sure I don't sound like a jackass. With that, I'm pleased to introduce our empowerment leader, Crystal Whiteaker.
Thank you, Carrie. You introduced me at like the first part of my talk is done. So thank you all so much for being here today and just sharing the space. This is really freaking cool. My personal mission is to inspire more communication, compassion, and understanding so that folks can really find a sense of belonging. I really want to inspire leaders and educators to embody their values and disrupt the status quo because I think that we all deserve better. So when I started thinking about empowerment, I'm like, what am I going to say? What is empowerment to me? And I landed on the idea that empowerment is a slow burn. Because let me be real, y'all, 2023 was rough. And so what do you say after such a rough year? And I realized that in that slow burn, it is shedding everything that you've picked up that was passed to you by society, shooting all over you, telling you you should do this or you should do that, until you reach a season where you realize the only should that matters is what you should let go of to make room for what really feels like you. Empowerment is built in community. Like my best friend over there who flew in from Florida, y'all. Sitting with me on Zoom for 2, maybe 3 hours while I practiced my first webinar on inclusive branding and leadership because at the time I was not a speaker at all. And it was community that amplified that first webinar, which Carrie attended. And she has been supportive of me and my work ever since. And I recognize that empowerment is learning to navigate challenges with grace, even when you want to burn it all down. And as an Aries, Leo, Aries, yes. I've had to learn how to channel that fire into a slow, sustainable burn that creates space for new growth. So when I found out that I had been nominated for this award, I'm going to be really honest, I was genuinely surprised because the world is loud and sometimes it feels like shouting into the void. And then my past self started reminding me by way of Facebook memories just how much I've done in the last 12 years since moving to LA. I arrived at 25 with my dog Lily and whatever essentials would fit in my car. I had $5,000 to my name that I had taken out of a retirement account, and I had no job prospects, and I didn't know where I was going to live. Thankfully, I had a cousin who I had never met that gave me a place to stay. And preparation helped me land what was at the time a dream job. And I'll never forget flat ironing my clothes that I had dug out of a suitcase in my still very packed car to go to this job interview at a music school in Hollywood. And I had this just determined idea that I wasn't gonna let anybody tell me no. And so when I think back on it, I can still see the befuddled look on Todd Burhorst's face. I remember his name, and I'm happy to say it, because I handed him a folder with a stack of letters of recommendation that I had collected before leaving Florida. And I had eagerly answered all of his questions, and he got up and left the room, leaving me sitting there really anxious, wondering what was going to happen. And he came back, and he still had this perplexed look on his face, and he also looked a little surprised by his decision. He took a big sigh and just looked at me and said, "Never in my 20-year career have I done this, but I'm going to give you this job." Right there. I wish I could have seen the look on my face. Because that had never happened to me before. And my mom has always told me that she's trusted me to live my own life. So a few years and a few roles later, when I called to tell her that I was leaving a lucrative salary and benefits because my soul felt like it was dying, and I was going to walk dogs while I built a photography business, she laughed and said, "So you're telling me you went to college so that you could quit everything and walk dogs? I trust you to live your own life, and you always land on your feet." And my mom was right. I have landed on my feet over and over, usually while hitting a bunch of shit on the way down, shooting all over myself, because how dare I step outside of the boxes that weren't built for me when society conditioned me to question myself. But when I land, I gather whatever resources I need to care for myself and the people around me, because I know the power of community. And it was with the help of community that I was able to expand my business beyond photography to include coaching and speaking and consulting. Because I built a network of values-aligned humans who also believed that business needed to be more inclusive. And I also refused to shut up about it, because in many ways, what I have started to do, it's been really healing for me in a lot of ways. And so much of my work now is for the love of community, so that people can feel empowered to advocate for themselves and others, to be and feel seen and heard, and to lead with curiosity and compassion, and to disrupt the status quo, because a lot of it is bullshit. I wouldn't be here without the support of community and all of the reminders from past me. And something that I have come to believe through my very, very witchy meditation practice is that future me is always reaching back, pulling present me forward, guiding me along the way with the support of my present community. And I'm so glad that I learned to be patient. And I'm grateful for everyone that has fueled what's turning out to be a pretty damn good slow burn. Thank you to everyone who has supported me and shown up for me, and for everyone who's honoring the work that I'm doing. I appreciate you so much, and I just want to give a huge shout out to my partner and my best friend who are here for me today, because they hold a lot of space, and I appreciate all of my friends and the people who have continued to hold space for me, because that helps me hold space for everyone else and pour into all of you. So thank you.
Isn't it cute?